Some quick thoughts from a trade war on a Thursday afternoon here in Montana. Uh, so, some big news late last night. The Court of International Trade finds that the International Emergency Powers Act of 1977 does not give the Trump administration the unfounded authority, as they argued, to levy tariffs. So for now, across the board, tariffs are being frozen. That certainly applies to China, where we've seen that the tariffs from the second Trump administration of 30% are going down to zero for now. So that's a big change. We'll see how long that lasts. The problems between the U.S. and China, sadly, are not going away. It's becoming increasingly clear this is not just a tariffs and trade war or competition between the two countries, but it's also a supply chain and also an advanced technology war that the two sides are waging. So what have we seen recently? Well, as I've mentioned before, China not making much progress at all on loosening up exports of rare earths, something that we had been told would come out of the recent Geneva deal. The U.S. side, for its part, announcing that we're warning companies around the world that if they use the latest Huawei Ascend AI chip, they could be in violation of export restrictions from the U.S. China angrily responding, threatening retaliation, including through its anti-foreign sanctions law. And then finally, we have the New York Times just announced reporting that the U.S. may have imposed, it's a little unclear now, export restrictions on airplane parts to China, which would be a big deal given their reliance on Boeing and U.S. airplane parts. Then finally, the bombshell announcement yesterday from the State Department, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, that the U.S. would begin to, quote, aggressively, unquote, revoke Chinese student visas, and that there would be, in particular, a focus on those with connections to the Communist Party as well as those studying in critical fields. So what are the numbers we got there? I think it's something like 200 and almost 80,000 Chinese students here in the U.S., the second largest number after students from India. Very unclear what connections to the CCP actually means. So do you have to be a party member? And obviously we have party members, I'm sure, studying at American universities now. Do you have to be a party member? Is that what a connection is? What about a relative? What about a distant relative who's a party member? Does that qualify as a connection? How about the academic institution that you've studied at back in China? If they have some affiliation with the Chinese Communist Party, do you as a student have that affiliation? Well, spoiler alert, every institution in China has a connection with the Chinese Communist Party. And then also no real clarity on what critical fields would be. I'm sure they're STEM fields, probably advanced technology. In any case, this announcement has the potential to affect a vast number of the Chinese students studying in the US. I'm not going to go into the quite usually pretty obvious reasons why having international students study here in the US and having Chinese students study here brings great benefits, economic, financial, entrepreneurial, if they stay, innovation to the United States. Those are pretty obvious. But I would like to note that I think a very strong argument in my perspective, can be made that the cost of better policing of who actually gets the visas, ensuring that we aren't giving visas to students that are actually more intent on engaging in espionage in the United States, which certainly happens, not around the world. The cost of actually policing that and making sure we aren't giving visas to the wrong people, if you will, would be far, far lower than this blanket revocation, potential revocation of visas. That's it for today. Stay tuned.